How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too, and what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago? How much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Predictive Markets Edge right here on the early line. It's how we get down. And by the way, it's a hump day Wednesday. Getting you ready for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here. The weekend is close. I'm Donnie Rightside. He's Joe and Erie. Joe, I'm feeling the predictive markets tonight. Got a good show lined up for the people. Yeah. Big opportunities in college basketball and in the pro game tonight. You got a game in Madison Square Garden we're going to get to here. But let's focus on college, Joe. This is the last week of the regular season for these college teams. Next week, head into conference tournaments. Then the following week, Selection Sunday is next Sunday, and away you go into March Madness here. Let's take a look at the ACC. In the first hour of the program today, Joe, we took a look at some of the sports books, right? FanDuel and DraftKings, and give you some opportunities. Now we'll take a look at the predictive markets here. Miami of Florida taking on SMU. It's the Hurricanes taking on the Mustangs here. If we take a look at the game itself, it's close in the point spread, but if you just want to pick SMU to win this game, that's a 53% chance. It's trading at here on Kalshi. Miami at 47%, Joe. If you look at the spread, you have 1.5 here as a favorite towards SMU. That's trading at 52%. And also the total, 160.5 points, trading at 50% here, Joe. SMU taking on Miami. SMU, the home team and favorite.
Yeah, I mean, top 25 for Miami. I think they're one win away, Donnie, from actually setting a school regular season record, which is kind of crazy for wins here in Lucas's first year after replacing Larinaga here. But SMU needs this game more than Miami does, because SMU's resume, although they've racked up some wins, they haven't beaten anybody worth anything here. And this is an interesting, styles make fights, Donnie. And Miami here loves to live in the paint and play at the rim. Well, that's where SMU's defense is the worst. They're not going to stop anybody in the paint or at the rim, which means they're going to have to make a lot of shots here from around the perimeter. Miami doesn't shoot threes, SMU does, but I think Miami's physicality is going to be a problem for SMU, so I do kind of agree here with the markets, and I like this price point for the University of Miami.
Price points are key, Joe, as we always like to point out some of the differences between the sports books and the predictive markets. If you look at that total, it's at 160.5, and you say to yourself that you want to take that over, a $100 investment pays back $200. Oh, wait a second. It doesn't pay back $190? No. there's no juice on this type of layout here. So make sure you're shopping around. And these are some of the advantages that you might get here in the predictive markets. Let's head to the SEC. We just told you a fun topic where only one player in the SEC stayed 4 years with his own program. A lot of moving chairs, and Texas is going to take on Arkansas tonight. You take a look at Arkansas winning the game outright here, Joe, a 73% chance. Texas listed at only 27%. If we look at the total on the side, -7.5 as a favorite for Arkansas tonight, trading at 52%, and the total at 164.5, Joe, that's trading at 51% as a chance.
Yeah, listen, and to me, this is a Arkansas team, Donnie, that has huge home road splits this year.
Yeah.
When Arkansas plays at Bud Walton, they are a different team. They look like a top 5 team in the country. They can drop 100 points on you in a heartbeat. When they're on the road, not so much. Listen, Texas just came off a nice win over A&M. They lost at home. They beat A&M on the road here. Now they got to go back on the road here into a hostile environment. It feels like this is a game Arkansas will control the tempo and the scoring, Donnie. I think this has got double-digit win for Arkansas written all over it.
Arkansas's offense, according to Ken Palm, number 2 overall in efficiency, number 1 overall in effective field goal percentage, and more importantly, number 1 at not turning the basketball over. And Joe is right. At Bud Walton Arena, as compared to home and away splits here, Arkansas gets after it. We'll see what Coach Cal and the boys have in store. Let's head over to the Big East tonight, Joe. Usually this would be a doormat game. Villanova taking on DePaul. Not so fast. DePaul's won 4 of their past 5 games. Villanova, I believe, has lost 2 of their past 3. But Villanova still coming in with a 62% chance to win this game on the money line. DePaul at 38%. However, Villanova is favored at -3.5, trading at 52%, and the total is listed at 52% chance of 135.5 to the over there, Joe. Villanova, DePaul. How about this one in the Big East tonight?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a battle, Donnie, that Villanova has kind of dominated over the years, like most people have dominated DePaul. But this is a different DePaul team. I mean, kudos. They have really flipped the switch, and things started to figure out for them. Chris Altman's done an amazing job for them. I mean, this is one of the best DePaul teams that we've seen in a very, very long time. And all of a sudden, 1 win away, and this will be the most wins that they have had in almost forever. So I don't like the current form of Villanova, but this is one of those spots where Villanova is going to chuck up a ton of threes. If they don't fall, Donnie, guess what? DePaul gets that win and finally breaks this cycle of Villanova dominating them. You got to love Nova at home getting points, the Blue Demons, rather, at home with DePaul getting points tonight.
Yeah, look, last couple games of the regular season for these college basketball teams, as we told you, heading into conference tournament next week, and away we go into March Madness, Joe. Let's flip it over to the NBA. The Oklahoma City Thunder on the road to take on the New York Knicks. Key ingredients here, Joe. OKC played last night. New York played last night. Both of these coming in on a back-to-back. OKC rested some of these players. We had a nice preview with Kevin Walsh of Game Time Decisions previously here. But Oklahoma City, if you want them on the money line, trading at a 60% chance to win this game. New York at 40%. The favorites are Oklahoma City, listed at 3.5, trading at a 53% clip. And also the total, Joe, 224.5. That's listed at 46%. OKC versus the New York Knicks in the Garden tonight.
Yeah, well, when I think of these two teams right now, Donnie, I'm not thinking wild shootout tonight. I am thinking fewer points. I'm thinking the defenses are going to have their way. I think Mitchell Robinson in the middle there. I think Chet Holmgren. Hartenstein's going to make his return to the Garden. The Knicks, unfortunately, in this spot here on the second of a back-to-back with travel, but they are home. And I kind of like the under here, Donnie. I think fewer points are coming here tonight. I don't think this is going to land anywhere near 230. I think the under is a much better look in this spot.
Both teams, by the way, coming in pretty good form as well. The New York Knicks here, winners of 5 of their past 6 games. Oklahoma City Thunder, winners of 6 of 7 games. Could we have a possible preview of the NBA Finals? We'll find that out here. But let's keep it in the association tonight up in Boston. And usually we talk about just because, hey, DePaul's out there, usually a doormat. Charlotte, usually a non-factor in the NBA regular season. Not the case this year. Good young trio here, knocking down 3-point shots there. They're going to take on Boston tonight in the Garden. Boston trading at a 68% chance to win this game. Charlotte, Joe, listed at 32%. The spread in this game, listed at 78%, at 48% as a chance to cover for Boston, and a 213 price point on the total, trading at 50%. Fun game in Boston tonight.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown, I don't believe, is on the injury report here tonight. So it looks like he'll be available for them here. LaMelo last night left the game for a little while, but did return. And it looks like he'll be a good to go here. And it's a great litmus test. I mean, the Celtics right behind Detroit as the top team in the East, right? But there is no doubt, no team has been hotter, Donnie, since the calendar turn than the Charlotte Hornets. And why? Their perimeter shooting, the defense that they've been playing. You gotta like them here to try to keep this thing close. But to me, Boston's winning with defense here. 3-point shooting and defense. Can they limit the Charlotte Hornets from the perimeter? If they don't, Donnie, this game is flying over the total.
And by the way, a lot on the horizon here for the Boston Celtics. Playing this game on a Wednesday, anticipated comeback for Jason Tatum on Friday here. So a lot to look forward to if you are a Celtics backer. But understand this too, when we talk about predictive markets. Hey, Joe and Donnie are talking about sides and totals in this game. Well, you also can bet props, NBA points here in the NBA. Looking at Kalshi, Peyton Pritchard to get 15 plus, Vucevic to get 10 plus here. All different denominations where you can slide it up, Joe. 10 points, 15 points, 25 points. If you expect tonight, Jaylen Brown to come back with a vengeance. 25 points here, Joe. Trades at 68% to the yes. $100 investment would pay back $148. You get it all in the predictive markets, Joe. You do.
You really do. I mean,
yeah.
and listen, Charlotte, they've been playing some defense too. 3 of their last 4 opponents have landed under 100 points. So there's a reason why this total is dropped. And it's all going to come down to the 3-point shot and who you trust more.
Prediction Markets Edge right here on a Wednesday. Talking WBC next. Don't go anywhere.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too? And what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago, how much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Well, I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Baseball Classic Talk right here on the SportsGrid Network. And we love these predictive markets to get after it. It's myself, Donnie Rightside, and Joe Ranieri. It's starting, Joe, because why? We have exhibition games that are being played right now before it's going to be pool play. So let's break down some of these pools, Joe. And we'll start with Pool A. Puerto Rico, Canada, Cuba, Panama, and Colombia. The favorites, no surprise, it's Puerto Rico, trading at 48%. Canada, 22%. Cuba, 15%. Panama and Colombia. Am I wrong to think, Joe, a 15-cent trading point here for a contract on Cuba is a little bit light, and to win their pool, a $100 investment pays back $667? Or am I overthinking myself? And it is Puerto Rico, Joe, supposed to be the best team in this group.
Well, they are supposed to be the best team in this group, but I'm with you, Donnie. There is no reason at that price not to invest in that Cuba contract, because I think ultimately it's going to come down to those two. But would we really be shocked if Cuba ends up winning that group? I don't think so. And at that price, how many games do they really have to win in this group in order for us to make a profit?
Yeah, Colombia trading at 12% as well, but the heavy favorite is Puerto Rico. But I do think there's a chance that we might have an upset in this player pool, and we'll certainly find out if that happens. Let's go to Pool B. Runaway Team USA, Joe, in the Kalshi Marketplace. They're trading at an 87% chance here. Mexico, 11%, Italy by 2%. And I want to start to say this, where some people will look, Joe, and say, okay, I'm going to take a contract out on the 87% chance that they win it. Oh, no, it only pays back $15. Did you see the rotation that the Americans are going to throw out there against Mexico, Brazil, Great Britain, and Italy? And by the way, maybe the easiest bracket is the one that Team USA is in. Most people won't, Joe, but also most people don't like to bet a lot of juice. But if I told you it's a free $15 back in a week here, why not take advantage? No?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's theirs to lose, Donnie, right?
Yeah.
And judging from the 2,000 runs that they just scored against, the Giants in that exhibition game there. Yeah, I think they'll dispatch of this group rather easily. But, don't forget, the more games that they win, and they win, Donnie, easily, the more this market is going to go up. So now might be your last opportunity to hop on in the group market.
And again, we're trying to structure this where it's almost like, Joe, I would rather bet the United States to win their Pool B, which, again, odds are going to be much less than winning it all. But the way it shapes up is they are throwing their top guns, no doubt about it, in pool play. And then we'll see what we get once we get to the knockout stages and the championship game. 87%, most people will shy away. I think it looks like easy money at this point right now. Let's head over to Pool C, the winner. And look at that, Japan trading at an 89% clip here, Joe, for that contract. And they won it last time. Korea, Chinese Taipei, Australia, and Czechia behind them here. Japanese, the heavy favorite, just like the United States, Joe.
Yeah, you better be able to hit a splitter because the pitchers that Team Japan has is just ridiculous here, including Yamamoto. And the best pitcher they have actually won't pitch, but he also happens to be the best hitter in Shohei Ohtani. This team is stacked, Donnie. I mean, they've got experience. They're defending champs. These guys have played all the rest of the team have played with one another in the Japanese professional league. This is, I'm sorry, the team to beat, not only in the group, but once again for this tournament.
I do like how they set it up, and particularly here, Joe, as you take a look at Pool C, the winner, right? Japan trading at 89%. If you just wanted to fade them and say, I don't think they make it out, maybe Korea pulls up the upset, a $100 investment on the no for Japan would pay back at $667. But the thing I do like, Joe, regional rivalries here. Japan, Korea, Chinese Taipei, all lumped in there. You know there's going to be a lot of pride from those nations in this pool alone.
There is. And listen, it's still baseball, Donnie, so anything can happen here, right? So I don't think any of the favorites are just thinking they're going to, march right through here and everything is going to be easy. So, yes, I do think there are a couple of groups that might see an upset or two, but not with the big three favorites here.
Pool D winner, Joe. The Dominican Republic trading at 65% as a chance here. Venezuela at 29%. And then Nicaragua at 4%. Israel and the Netherlands follow up, and they're trading at 2% and 3% respectively here. But if you are looking up top, this feels like Dominican Republic and Venezuela going to be a war and so much fun. I can't imagine what the stands look like between those two games. Flags flying, cheers and chants left and right. But the Dominicans here, they're getting a lot of steam also, Joe, to win this thing overall.
I wonder if their manager, who also happens to be a Hall of Famer, Albert Pujols, might suit up and pinch hit here. But I don't think he has to. You got Soto, Machado, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, they are stacked, and they got some pretty good arms in that bullpen, too. But you're right, Donnie. Venezuela is going to be... This is going to be an interesting group. Ultimately, I think there's just too much power on the Dominican Republic team to sleep on them.
Joe, if I gave you a choice, and we'll call it who will falter, Puerto Rico, You take a look in Pool A, Pool B, the United States, Pool C, Japan, and then you have Pool D in the Dominican. If you had one choice to pick who's not going to survive out of that, who would that pick actually be?
Yeah, I think maybe Team Puerto Rico might have their hands full there. But I know a lot of guys that think they are a dark horse team.
Yeah.
Very talented, right? But, you know, Carlos Correa, Francisco Lindor, not there. Edwin Diaz. You remember all of these guys there? I think they could be in trouble in that group, Donnie.
How about this, though? The classic winner overall, it's still the Americans here with a heavy favorite, Joe, of 52%, followed by Japan at 22%, and the Dominican Republic at 19%. A couple teams there, Venezuela, Mexico, and Puerto Rico, 5%, 3%, and 2%. It still seems like Team USA is the team to back right now in the WBC, according to these prediction markets.
Well, I mean, that's the problem. This isn't about, winning or picking the better team. This is just about picking the best avenue to profit as quickly as we can here. And I still think the defending champions have the best opportunity, not just to win it outright, but certainly have an opportunity to profit here at the price because everyone is focused on Team USA.
It's so interesting how some of these numbers come about, too, because like the finalization of the rosters here, how the pitching is going to work out. You go back to the first of the month, December the 1st, Joe, USA was trading at 32.1%. Japan was trading at 31% here. And now you fast forward to today, the United States at 52%, Japan at 22%. And even though you get some things like, Skubal might not pitch again, that's huge. If you tell me Paul Skeens will be available if they make the championship game, which means 60-plus pitches out of him, that's a big difference to McLean, who we do like for the Mets. But when you get a guy like Skeens or Skubal, those brand-name prospects out there, that's going to change a lot of things up. More information to come on Prediction Markets Edge. We got some political topics coming up next. Absolutely. We'll be right back after this short break.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too? And what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago, how much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Prediction Markets Edge right here on the SportsGrid Network. Donnie Rightside and Joe Raniero. We talk so much about sports here. College basketball, WBC, NBA action, but also on the Predicted Markets, Joe, you can dip into real life. Things such as the S&P, where it's going to close for a price point at the end of 2026. So, Joe, let's give the people a little bit of a background here with the S&P. If we date it back to last year at this time in March, it was trading at 5,842. Now we flip forward a little bit there. A month later, in April of last year, it was down to 5,074. Fast forward to right now, we are trading, Joe, 66,016 right now. So you see the market increase year over year at this point. So the question's going to be, Joe, where does it end up by 2026? A lot of different price points you can hit, but I just want to ask you this. Bullish for you on this market, Joe, or possibly fading this market now with all the uncertainty in the Middle East?
Well, yes, because that's what they're being priced at, Donnie, right? If you think about it here, because each one of these to the yes is being priced at what, about a 10-cent entry?
Yeah.
And, you know, you can, to me, I mean, you're basically trying to turn a single dime into a dollar here. But call me crazy here, Donnie. Wouldn't it make sense to maybe invest in each one of these at 10 cents, the 7,200 to 73.99 and so on and so forth? You buy into those top three markets there. And if the market closes anywhere within that window, boy, oh boy, you got a middling opportunity at a great price here. So yeah, it appears that according to history, and might not be a bad time to be bullish on the S&P by the time the end of the year turns around.
You got to thread that needle, too. The favorite right now trading, Joe, at 11% is 7,400 to 7,599, which is roughly 7,600. That's trading at a 12% price, so a $100 investment would pay back $834. Volatile market if you can catch it correctly, and it's almost like watching it through. But at the same time, understand this. You don't have to wait till the end of the year to see exactly where it goes. And your target price range with your contract, Joe, and let's just say you went at 7,400 to 7,600, and all of a sudden it looked like he was going to hit that demo and it trades at 15%, 20%, 25%. You can cash out any time and take those proceeds here. Let's get over to the entertainment business, Joe. Monopolies usually happen right in front of us now. Who will successfully take over Warner Brothers? And it looks like now it's going to be Paramount, trading at 86% as a chance. Look at Netflix down to 2%. It wasn't too far in the past, Joe, that Netflix was the overall favorite here. Now crashing down. Looks like it's Paramount's to take.
Yeah, it is. And again, these are the types of markets, Donnie, that are heavily influenced by headlines, rumors, innuendo. And it's also the kind of market where there are probably we say chase the steam, Donnie. Yeah, there is probably one or two people in these markets that already know what the answer is going to be here. So be careful in these types of markets.
But how about this, too? Like Paramount or Netflix is there, but wait, sandwich in between, Joe? How about none before July 2027? You take out a yes where things stall here. $100 investment, that pays back $715. So you might think Paramount might get it. Netflix, how about if none of them get it here and none before July of 2027? That's big money right involved, Joe.
Yeah, well, again, that's by next year, and none of this happens quickly when it comes to this kind of approval that you need in order to have this kind of merger and acquisition. So something is going to happen, Donnie, it feels like. But again, understand the market is very volatile. People already know what the answer to this is going to be. So be careful.
Oscar time, Joe. So many times we just take a look at the best Oscar for the males here, and there's a lot of superstars up top. Not the case right now if we look at the Oscar for the best actor here on the predicted markets on Kalshi. Jesse Buckley is trading at 95%. I got to be honest, I don't even know who that is. Rose Byrne, Emma Stone I've heard of. Kate Hudson, of course I've heard of. By the way, watched Song Sung Blue the other night at this point. I don't know if she can win for best actress, but come on now. Rose Byrne stars in If I Had Legs, I Would Kick You, Joe. How about that name for a title of a movie?
I actually did see this Begonia, the Emma Stone movie there, where she's, everyone thinks she's an alien and gets kidnapped as a, the CEO of a Fortune 500. It was actually very entertaining, and I thought she did a really, really good job. But again, this is another market going to be influenced by what TMZ headlines write and what the rumors and how many other awards do these movies make. So, buy low and get out, Donnie, would be my suggestion in these markets.
Yeah, odds some of the you can't even bet on here, like Emily Blunt for the Smashing Machine. I watched that with The Rock. It was actually kind of boring as an overall show, but so probably like, why isn't Sydney Sweeney for Christie up higher? Sydney Sweeney playing a boxer, Joe? Were you interested? Did you watch that movie?
No, but I will, Donnie. I will. That will be on the list here for this week.
By the way, if you think it's going to be lock under tight key here, that's going to be a winner. Buckley at 95%. It gives you a profit of $5 here. Congratulations. That's Prediction Markets Edge for today. We'll see you once again tomorrow right here on the Sports Grid Network.